Hello, welcome to the Entrepreneurs Network. I'm Rick Anthony. This area is blessed with a variety of restaurants, enough to satisfy any taste, any palate. What's interesting about so many of them is that they're able to create not only outstanding cuisine, but to recreate the ambiance, the theme, the country that they represent, whether it's Italian or some part of Asia, Greek, etc. Again, we have a cornucopia of really good eating in this area. One that stands out, at least in my experience, is a restaurant up off Westchester Pike, Route 3, and I guess it's called Newtown Square. It's Trattoria Giuseppe, a restaurant that my wife and I have frequented very often, as well as taken friends there. The food is good, the ambiance is wonderful, the service is great, and because of all of that happy experience, I thought that you might be interested in meeting Giuseppe Musso, who is the owner and operator. So welcome, Giuseppe, to the Entrepreneurs Network.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Delighted you could be here. I told you when I stopped you, because you were running around, as you always are, the restaurant, that what particularly struck me and interested me was that you attract families. You create an environment that is welcoming to families.
Yes, we do.
We'll talk about that. But as we always do, we start with who are you, where are you from, and how did you get into the restaurant and hospitality business?
Okay, I'm from Italy. I'm Italian, and I was born in Sicily.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in this country in 1981. And I came really with a dream and search for a better life, like every immigrant do, over the years. And basically, my trade was, cooking. Even though in the beginning when I started working as a dishwasher, I never liked it. Because,
in Sicily?
In Switzerland.
In Switzerland.
Because when all my friends, they were playing and I was working, washing dishes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a necessity, I had to provide for my mother back then.
How large a family did you?
Just my mother and I, because my father was not around, and I was happy to provide for her. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I had to immigrate because my Italian didn't offer me much. And then something really happened, when I was working as a dishwasher, I kind of started developing this desire of cooking, and I was very curious. Mm-hmm. And so I asked the chef back then if he can give me a chance to start working and teach me how to cook. But because it was only, the particular place, it was only hire kids from culinary school, and I didn't have one. So he couldn't really do much. But eventually one day he offered me a little spot to clean vegetable. Yeah. And that's how it started. And then, I was blessed because I worked my way up over the years, and I worked with good chefs, around the world. Mm-hmm. And
in what other countries?
Well, I worked in New York, in New Jersey, in Switzerland, and here. Mm-hmm. And so you learned your trade by doing? Yes. I never went to school.
Never went to school?
No, I never went to school. I learned because it started to be a passion for me, and that grew in me,
So is what you learned and what you favor all southern Italy?
Well, I cooked also North and a little French, but over the years I saw that the new American cuisine created in this country, it was not really my favorite or my passion. So I went back to the simplicity of my cooking, my culture, and kept.
Because your menu goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
and on,
well, it's a northern.
But it's all healthy.
Yes, it is.
Well,
we
it's
try
relatively
to.
healthy.
Well, some dishes, it's a choice of people,
Sure.
But they're fresh, made daily. That's the one thing. I always kept it.
Fresh.
Yeah, I always kept the freshness, consistency, over the years. And how I end up in Pennsylvania? That's a good good question. I thought God brought me here for a mission. That's the way I look at it.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. Because, like I said, I worked in New York and New Jersey, and so when I decided to from North Jersey to move with my wife is in South Jersey. The reason why we moved is because I bought a house. We wanted to buy a house, and eventually the commute from North Jersey to South Jersey was too much.
Yes.
And we decided to move. We decided to either move back in New Jersey or to find a job around my house, which was in South Jersey. And unfortunately, back then, I couldn't find anything because I was overqualified. And through a friend of mine, I ended up in Philadelphia. And from Philadelphia, I met other people, and I ended up here in Newtown Square, which now I am, a couple miles down, which is Edgemont.
But there was another venture before you started your own.
Yes, I started Fellini Cafe in 1999. I opened that cafe with my ex-partner, and we did very well. Back then I was in the kitchen.
They had a fine reputation.
Yes.
Again, as you, fine food, fresh all the time.
Right.
A little cramped.
Yeah, well, a small place.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of satisfaction, and I worked hard. I was commuting from New Jersey 3 years back and forth, and but like I said, God always gave me the strength and the energy to compromise that, to accomplish that, because I always believe in working hard, and that's what I know, that's what I learned, and it does pay off in the long run. It does pay off.
Working hard is part of the formula, you told me.
Yes.
Your formula for success?
Yeah, and hands-on.
Hands-on.
Yes.
Working hard, hands-on, but there were some other parts of the formula.
The other things that I use is three things also. Is a passion, dedication, and my wife. My wife, she's always been there for me. She always support me.
Your wife, Teresa.
My wife, Teresa. And I couldn't done it without her, because I do believe, without having a wife that she's supporting you, you can never accomplish. And you know what they're saying, there is always a good wife behind every successful man. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
the formula is one that I think almost any successful entrepreneur would agree with. Passion, dedication,
yes,
the support of other people.
Exactly.
Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Well, I didn't know what it was until today. I learned from you. And it makes sense. Because, now I finally realize what that means, and
you had a dream, you had the passion.
And the chance, the risk.
You took a big risk,
Exactly.
and you continue to take a big risk.
Exactly, yes.
Because you continue to expand.
Yes, I continue to expand because I always, my whole entire life, I grew up by loving people. I love people. I'm a people person, and I always done everything for them to be able to succeed and to be able to compromise my satisfactions, because I come from a poor family, and when I came in this country and I saw way back when I was working in a restaurant, the prices, the people they was charging,
yes,
the way they were operating, it was really outrageous. And I said to myself, I said, someday, if I able to, God gave me the chance to be a self-employed and having my own restaurant, I want to change that, because there was no need. There was no need to kind of rip people off in a way, because a lot of restaurants back then, they took a lot of advantage of it.
Many of them still do.
A lot of advantage, by charging too much money and not giving the quality. So and I come from a beautiful culture, which is Italian culture,
yes,
and the hospitality, and we believe in good food, good friendship, serving, welcome people, and give it really what they deserve, a good meal and good price, reasonable prices.
But the economics of your business are really quite difficult. Your margins
Yes,
are razor
my
thin.
margin is.
It seems to me the only way your formula can work, that is high quality at,
Yes,
at a fair price,
yes,
is volume.
Yes, it is.
Big volume.
That's right.
You're open 7 days a week.
Yes, lunch and dinner.
Lunch and dinner.
Yes.
There's not a time I've been there when it hasn't been busy, sometimes busier than others, but always steady.
That's the formula.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a formula.
So the risk is you're not going to be able to sustain that volume.
Well, as long I always believe, first of all, I do believe in my staff. I really have a good staff, and I want to say hi to them, everybody. I've been very fortunate to work with a good people, good staff. I mean, I have a good, big percentage of a backbone, and unfortunately, a small percentage they come and go because not everybody can handle the stress, the pressure of the volume.
Yes.
And I understand that. And unfortunately, also we're dealing with a situation, the work ethic. Not everybody has a good work ethic. Not everybody believes that in that kind of field or will be professional. But I teach that. I teach it all the time.
How do you select the wait staff? Because you bring them in from Italy and from other places.
Yes.
You have Mexicans, you have Italians, and so on. But all of them they move fast, as you do, but they are customer centric. Is what I mean is they can't do enough for you. They're always checking on you and so on. Very attentive.
Yes.
Now, that only comes from good selection and good training.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, there's a third part, and that is rewarding good behavior. So it's selection, training, and reward. How does that work in your case?
I think part of it is that we constantly have meetings. I'm constantly explaining them how this business is. And eventually they will understand, not as much in the beginning. I have to basically go over several times to make them understand that. And once they do, they realize that that's truth and it works. And so, I always did that. I always did everything also for my staff to keep it together. Yes. Because it's a tough business.
It is very tough.
It's very tough business, and you can never have a formula if you don't have a good leader, and if you constantly pray to God.
But again, going back to the economics of the business, volume is important.
Well,
but turnover is important as well.
Yes.
And yet, again, what I've noticed is because you cater to families and large groups, and since most of us don't have the time to sit and have a good meal with family and friends anymore because we're always so busy. Exactly. People come to your restaurant and they stay.
To have that, yes. Because
so a table can stay there for a couple of hours.
Yes, now they can because, after all these years that I did suffer a lot because the space and the seating capacity. That's why people, they used to be very angry. Standing up in the lobby, waiting for a table, and they used to really think that we were overbooking, but we were now really overbooking. It was the fact that...
Do you take reservations?
Yes, we do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, it was the fact that the people, they stay longer.
Yes.
For two reasons. Number one, they like that atmosphere. It's a BYOB, which they make them bring their own wine and stay a little bit longer. But unfortunately, people, they didn't realize that. It was they thought we were overbooking, and we never did overbooking. So the other thing I wanted to explain, going back into the economy, is the fact that I don't use the corporation formula when it comes to profit. I use my own independent individual formula, which is I'm content for what I make, and I do. I'm not greedy. Let's put it this way. So it's just the passion that it drives me to.
Over the years that we've been going there, you went from one area.
Yes.
You then expanded to the back for catering and large groups, weddings and so on. Right. And then you more recently enclosed the two patios in the front. What's the seating capacity now?
Well, now it's about 250 to 70, I think.
Including the back?
No. I don't count the back.
You don't count the back?
That's well, altogether, I would say probably 480 seats.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is a large...
The point is, as an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneurs are interested in scaling their concept, building it out. How can you scale what you've got?
To multiply?
Yes.
It's a little tough, and I don't think it will work because, like I said, I'm not running my business like a corporation.
But when your first venture,
Yes.
Fellini's,
Mhm.
that they were scaling. There were several locations in the
Yeah,
area.
but that was not by my choice.
Okay.
It was like I told you, Rick. You know, we worked together once with my ex-partner, and then he decided to do that. But he had a different mentality.
So you learned from that experience better to do exceptionally well with one location.
I always believe, yes, I always believe it to do good job in one location,
Yeah.
and be there, and show, you know, your passion and your dedication. Then have a several ones that eventually they're gonna fail. And the reason why when I change and I move on to my new restaurant, I change into my name, because I knew eventually some of them eventually gonna goof, and I don't want to be in the middle of that, you know. So look, everybody has a different mentality, you know. I never believe in chain. I never believe in multiply too many places, because then you become a number. It's just business. You know, I'm more like a people person.
If the
I
formula
like to
works,
be able, I like to be able,
and it is. But I don't, you know.
I like to be able to shake hands with my customer, give a hug.
But
you
that's
know.
what, and that's great. That's terrific. But my experience when we've been there is, you are darting all over the place. I mean, at a trot. I mean, you're not just standing still. So I don't see, where is the time for you to stop and hug and say
I find
hello?
my time.
Okay.
I do find my time. You know, I mean, I cannot do every single table.
No.
I cannot do every single moment. But I do find my, see, my job is to supervise the staff.
Yes.
To make sure in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Making sure the people executed the food in
Right.
time, warm, hot, quality, and supervise the staff. So unfortunately, because I'm doing that,
Yes.
like you say, I don't have enough time to go around, but I do find the time eventually, you know, every you know, in between.
I suspect, Giuseppe, you're a control freak. You have to have hands on.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
yeah,
Yes, I am. I mean, I'm learning. I mean, I'm learning a lot of things, you know, in life, and every day I'm learning every day, you know, to adjust and improve with different things, you know. So even for my health, you know, even for me to be able to take a little break and breathe.
Otherwise, you'll burn out.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And also my family. You know, I love to spend time with them, because that's another reason why I don't like to multiply, because I don't want to take it away from my family, my wife and kids.
There are a number of very, very good Italian restaurants in this area.
Yes, there are.
What sets yours apart from all the competition? Or maybe you don't feel you even have competition.
I never thought about it. I just do my own things from my inspirations. I never look at the other what they do. I just like to. I always work for things from inside me. You know, from things that I wanted to do it, ideas, recipes, and I execute it. I don't really know what the other people do. So, and I was always like that. I was always like, you know.
You have some entertainment at the restaurant
Yes,
from time to time?
several ones. I have once
singer?
a month. Once a month, I have a Frank Sinatra impersonator. I used to have a Sergio guitar player. That
I remember him.
Yeah, he used to be with me for 3 years, but unfortunately, he moved into California. So, and I'm looking for eventually future entertaining. You know, if somebody wants.
But you don't have a bar. You don't have a liquor license.
No.
And so a bar and entertainment seem to go together.
Yes, exactly. That's why I'm kind of limited. And see, I don't want to really change. My image has always been BYOB. When people think about Giuseppe, they have to think a good food in a generous portion and at reasonable prices.
Yes.
That's my image. That's what I created. So, and I think I'm going to leave that alone. I don't think I'm going to bring any liquor, you know. Now, when it comes to the banquet hall, that's different.
That's different.
The banquet hall, my plan is eventually to have a liquor and a bar, a nice bar. I mean, I already have a bar as it is right now, but I want to build another one, nice, you know, with stools, but not anytime soon. And that's based on my next project and my goal, because they go together. for weddings, for entertaining, you know, all that.
Do you consider yourself, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, successful now, or are you still working on success?
Well, I'm always working to improve,
Yeah.
most than anything, because I like to always perfect the things that we do wrong. And there is always things that we do wrong. I mean, nobody's perfect in life. I mean, you're always learning for your mistakes, you know. And that's my goal, because I don't really think to keep on expanding, because no, that's not really my goal. I mean, I done it for necessity, and I've been very lucky. Thanks to the township, thanks to my landlord, you know, thanks to my staff, you know, because we all, like I say, it's not all about me. It's about all of us, and everybody. They've been there for me. You know, we've been a team together, and I'm very fortunate about that.
You just brought back a memory. I remember years ago, anyway, when my wife and I would go down to South Philly,
Right.
South Philadelphia, to some of the Italian restaurants there, and there would be lines of people sitting out on the curb, on the benches, and so on. Because the food was good, the food was reasonable, and so on. You seem to have that formula as well. It's a neighborhood kind of place, because you have a following. You have people who come back, if not every day, several times a week.
Yeah, and we get people from all over the place.
You do,
we get people from long distance, you know, local people. And thank God for that, because it's a big place, and we need to fill it up, you know, because then you have to deal with the financial situation.
Yes.
So everything is, you know, I've been there 8 years, believe it or not. 8.
Is it 8 years?
8 years, yes. And I'm planning to be there for the longest time, as long as God they gave me the health and the spirit to continue and keeping working with good people.
How do you give back to the community? How does Giuseppe, not you, but your restaurant, how do you give back to the community? How are you involved in the community?
I've been involved since I opened 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I understand the question.
Do you have a special cause of any kind, a charity that you support? The Veterans Memorial is part of the complex.
Every day people come to my restaurant for sponsoring, for charity, and we always welcome them. We always give something for whatever we can, and we are known for that. You know, I always helped Edgemont Township, you know, in the best way I could. You know, the political parties, you know. So we do that. I mean, so I try to keep and benefit the whole, you know, area by being a good resident.
A good corporate citizen.
Exactly.
Do you provide any help to other people who are still coming to this country from Italy, relatives or friends, who want to establish businesses here?
I'm open to help anybody and everybody, because God has been good to me. And I run into a lot of good people in my life. The problem is I don't really run into so many.
Why is that? That's strange.
Because I don't really have too much socialized life.
Because of the restaurant.
Because of the restaurant. And the only time I have left in the week, you know, I spend with my kids and my wife. That's my priority.
Yes.
And I'm not really ashamed to say, because, like I say, I always dedicated my life to my business and my passion, you know. So, and I learned that if you do one thing, you cannot do the other. You know, that was always my problem. I could never be able to do both, you know.
You keep talking about learning. You're still learning and so on. What's the biggest lesson you've learned as an entrepreneur, as an owner and operator of your own business?
That's a good question. Sometimes, you know, you have to let go of things. As much you want to be, you know, there and stubborn, or thinking that you know it all.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, you have to let...
That's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make. They think they know it all.
Yes, but I am not like that. I try to minimize that and balance that, you know, because I always said that there is always other people there, you know, much higher than I am, you know, when it comes to success, and they deal in a very, very different way. But unfortunately, I haven't learned that. You know, sometimes also it's been the fact that I don't want to jeopardize my family too much with them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've been taking a lot of chances, a risk, and my wife, she's always been there for me. But I don't want to push too much. You know.
Well, you did take in a partner for the
20%, yes,
yeah.
Alessandro. Yeah, I promised him that it was gonna come with me, and he did. You know, we accomplished it. And we've been together since then, 9 years.
What do you want for your son, who is working now in the restaurant?
My son, first of all, my son is a joy. It's a beautiful boy. I remember when he was 1 year old, and now it's 15. It's an inch taller than I am, and he grows so fast. And it really is. Time flies.
Yes, it sure does.
And I believe that. What I regret with my son is in not be able to be there for him, seeing games, because he plays soccer. He's a very, very good soccer player, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to, you know, go to the game. That's what I regret, because the business.
You have to work on that.
And I'm working on that, yes. And my son,
you only get one shot.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, Rick. What I want with my son is, right now, my priority and what I've been telling him is the school, education, which is very, very important. Every now and then, believe it or not, he's always been telling me, more than ever, you know, recently, that he wants to be part of the restaurant business. And I really, I never thought for him to, me want him to be in this business, because it's so hard, and you have to pay some kind of prices in according to be in the business. And I would not like for him to go through what I went through.
He won't have to, because he's learning from you, but also he'll run the business
in a different way.
A different way.
Yes,
and
in a
he'll
different way.
figure
You're
out.
right.
He'll figure out how to deal with some of the struggles you have with it.
You're right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But like I said, I leave it up to him. You know, I said to him, I say, if you really want to be part of it, I will be there for you. I will help you. And if you don't, you don't. You know, and that's basically the way we left it. But I will be there for him if he really, really want to be.
If you hadn't, if you believe in divine providence, obviously, but so if you hadn't answered the call, you felt God was calling you.
Yes.
How might you have spent your life? What would you be doing if you didn't own Trattoria
That's another
Giuseppe?
good question. I don't know.
You wouldn't still be in Sicily.
No. I was always, first of all, I'm a very ambitious person. Since I was a little kid, I always like to, I'm very productive, you know, and I'm always like to do good things for people, for me. If I wouldn't have done this, I would have probably done something else.
What would the other thing have been? You're not sure?
I'm not sure what, but...
Well, there probably would have been something in hospitality, I guess, if
probably
you like
yes,
people.
because that's what I always do. I always
and you're always selling in this business. You're always selling, so you might have been involved in sales of some kind.
Probably sales. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm good to convince people. So,
do you have a particular interest in the arts, music?
I like music. I like arts. I like traveling. I love to travel. I love to travel and see different cultures.
Yes. You don't have any time to do that either.
No, but I tell my wife, hopefully in a few years, you know, if with God willing, we.
Well, if you continue to have the success that at least I've seen at Trattoria Giuseppe, I'm sure that it won't. And your son is coming along. Hopefully, in the not too distant future, you'll be able to do some other things and enjoy the life that you've built for yourself. Until then, and until next time, thank you very much
Rick.
for being here.
Thank you for inviting me here, and I want to thank my staff, my customers. You know, hopefully we will continue to do business and
I have no doubt that you will continue.
And that's
at the
basically
high
my
level.
goal. That's for many years yet to come. Thank you,
We'll
Rick.
see you
Thank you
next
again.
time.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Thank you again.
Until next time, this is the Entrepreneurs Network. I am Rick Anthony. Take very good care of yourselves and try Trattoria Giuseppe.